Welcome to TXAPA Live. I am Harold Mullen, and so glad to have you here. And what time of season is this? It's the holiday season. All right. So we hope everybody's staying safe, staying healthy, so you can celebrate this great time of year that we have to see family, friends, and reflect on the type of year we've had. And my goodness, what kind of year has it been? It's been wild and woolly for sure. So, during the holiday season, a lot of us take that opportunity to venture out. Of course, we're going to be out doing maybe a little shopping. We're going to be out seeing some friends, doing a couple of things like that, maybe visiting family, but it's going to put us on our roadways. And so we have to remember we want to drive safely through this time of year because we're trying to end the streak. We still haven't ended that streak. So we still have had a fatality on a Texas highway since November 7th, 2000. So let's end that streak. And we do that by a couple of ways. One thing, everybody in your vehicle, wear a seatbelt. So when you're going to the store, make sure everybody is strapped in. Make sure you have your seatbelt. The other thing you need to watch out for is that you're not speeding. It seems like that we've all picked up our speed a little bit because there's not as much traffic out there, those type of things. Well, let's make sure that we're watching that speed. And there's a couple of other important things. And Jim, I'm going to put the question to you. What are the two other things we need to do to make sure we can help end the streak?
Well, we've got a couple of things. One, it is holiday season, and there may be an opportunity to imbibe a little bit. So please do not drive impaired. And impaired could be much more than alcohol. You could just be tired, or you could be, or something else. And never text. And while you're driving, keep these things down and put them in the holder. And don't use the handheld devices while you are driving. So there you go, Harold. There's a couple more.
All right. Hey, today's guest is our 2021 TXAPA President, and that's Craig Odom. And Craig is with Reese Albert Incorporated over in San Angelo, Texas. Craig, welcome to TXAPA Live.
Hello, Harold. I appreciate this. It's good to be here.
But thank you for joining us. We're looking forward to a fantastic year in 2021 under your leadership. But I kind of want to find out, what are you going to be doing during the holiday season? You got any travel plans being out there on the roadway?
Of course, be traveling, spending some time with some family, probably traveling around the Panhandle quite a bit. So it should be a good time.
Excellent, excellent. I know 2020 has been a really busy year for our industry, and I know it has been for you. Has it been as busy as what I think it has been for you?
That, in spite of all the challenges this year in terms of work, there's been a significant amount of work out there. It's been really wonderful. We've been blessed from that regard. And for the most part, the year weather-wise has allowed us to do quite a bit. So it's been a very busy year, and not just in the textile world, but our municipalities and county work and city work and even some of that airport work is out there. So it's been a good year from that perspective.
Craig, I think that's one of the great things about you and your company is y'all have a variety of the projects that y'all work on. And I know you were sharing with me one of the more interesting ones about an airport, some of the demands and things that you have to do for that. So I know that has kept y'all busy working, making sure certain things are happening for an airport. That's kind of special work, isn't it?
It can be very special work. So a lot of things out in West Texas also have special locations to them too. So there's always a challenge with every project, and it's always an adventure to figure out how to meet those challenges, no matter where you are.
So how has your COVID construction season gone? Have y'all had any extra challenges? You're right. There's challenges anytime we're out there. In front of traffic and trying to construct and do things like that. Did you have any special considerations you had to, or challenges you had to take care of during the COVID construction season?
Absolutely. I mean, it's pretty easy to think about an office scenario where you've got people that are in an office, or maybe they can work from home or something like that, or you can distance people out. But it's an entirely different situation when you're talking about a crew working out on the job. Now, largely there's some nice aspects to that you can social distance on the job, and you're outside, and there's certain precautions you can take, but at the same time, those people have to get to and from a job. They've got to lodge somewhere. So, they may be in vehicles together, things of that nature. So there's a lot of aspects we really had to tackle early and really hard to try to help a lot of those things. We were very fortunate very early on, but as time unfolded, I think everybody's felt the sting of this throughout the year in some way or another, and we've been no exception to that. But fortunately, we've been able to keep going. And for the most part, it's fortunate that a lot of those people, although we're down, seem to have recovered fairly well from it, and that's very, very fortunate. We don't want anybody to be incapacitated or hurt in any way, and that's been really our guiding thought process, is keeping everybody safe first and foremost, but also knowing we all have jobs still to do, and how do you do that, execute that goal in the safest, most practical way.
You know, Craig, you're exactly right. And it seems like the reoccurring thing that we've heard for people to keep their people, or that members have told us to keep their people safe and to stay ahead of this thing, is planning and communication. And that's kind of what you were talking about too, is planning, being prepared for it, communicate that, and implement the plan. Is that right?
Absolutely. And it comes down to the most small details. Just like I'm saying, how do you get the guys to and from the job? How do you travel? Because, you know, a lot of times we pack people in crew cab pickups and whatnot, and that may or may not be the right thing to do. So there's a lot of things we do in terms of testing, you know, before our shift and monitoring people's health. There's all those sorts of things that a lot of companies are doing. We're very blessed that we're able to work, unlike other industries. So that's very positive. But the planning takes on a whole nother shade when you talk about that. There's one thing to internally plan, because there's a lot of control that you can keep in terms of those planning. But then you still got to communicate with clients, with engineers, with subcontractors, with other individuals that are involved in the industry, and you have to interface with them and communicate and plan with them in a way that their policies, their procedures to keep their people safe, and yours are also met together. So there was a lot of coordination this year coming together to meet those challenges, and I think most companies stepped up dramatically and did a very, very good job. So it was positive to see how we could rise to a challenge and still accomplish a task without, you know, overly endangering anybody with the risk of this virus. So
you're exactly right, Craig. You know, it really makes you, it makes me very proud and humble to be a part of our industry, to take care of things the way that everybody did, the professionalism, the partnering spirit that we all shared. So, you know, it was really a successful year from that standpoint. Talking about successful, I've been asking everybody in our industry this year. We've had so much work go on out there, a lot of things going on, a lot of mix putting down. You know, what has been your most successful mix this year that you've seen, that you put down?
of course, all of them.
I like that answer. What's been your favorite mix? How about that? What's been your favorite?
You know, we've done a variety of different mixes throughout the year, and I think they've all had a great success. I think one of the things we're able to execute a lot of sewer pave mixes under the new 3077 specification this year, and that went very, very well. I was very, very happy with the way that proceeded and the results of that. So really, really happy all around at those things, and the new spec procedures or test procedures and the specifications that are being implemented. It seems to be a very positive thing, and we've been fortunate to be able to jump into some of those a little early this year.
You know, speaking of one of those topics is that test procedures change, requirements change, was liquid asphalt, and you've kind of been in the middle of that through the Quality Initiatives Committee and those type of things. Do you think the quality of liquid asphalt has changed because of these new sampling procedures, test procedures, and requirements that TxDOT's put out?
I think they have. I think they really have improved, but I also think that if there is an issue, things are getting handled, they're getting addressed, and that's the main thing. We all want perfection 100% of the time, but you know, this is reality. Sometimes you need a check and a way to handle those things that aren't maybe perfect, and I think we're doing that. We've had amazing success with liquid asphalt this year, And I think it's a huge testament to our liquid asphalt suppliers and their willingness to jump on board with this program and really make sure and ensure that quality of their product coming to all of us is meeting the standards that it needs to. And I think their participation has been outstanding.
Craig, you're exactly right. There's no doubt. I share your thoughts that the quality of liquid asphalt has really improved in the state of Texas. Everybody's heading in the right direction. Our major associate members, liquid asphalt suppliers, they're doing a tremendous job. They are engaged. They are looking for that quality, and they're certainly making that happen. So you're exactly right. The partnership that Materials and Test with our major associate members, and of course Ted Flanagan, our chairman of that bunch, they're doing a tremendous job of partnering together and coming up with ways that we can improve. So I totally agree with you on that. And also those specifications, you mentioned the new specifications. We have been working for over 2 years on that. We both agree. We think we're going to start seeing a lot better asphalt out there. We already got great mixes out there going, but with these changes, we're supposed to be getting a lot more improvement, which we think we are. Have you had experience with the new specification? I think y'all had a project or two already with the new specs, haven't you?
We have had a couple, and some of the changes are nuanced. They may be subtle and small, but significant still. And some of them are a little bit larger. And I think, for the most part, everything seems to really be gearing us towards setting the whole thing up for success. From the start all the way through, from your mix designs on through the materials and how you're testing and quality control of everything involved is really set everything up for success and longer lasting pavements. And that's the goal. That is the absolute goal of these specifications, is longer lasting pavements. And I think we're heading in the right direction. We will always learn from all these new specifications, but I think they're a step in the right direction. And we've been able to implement them with no insurmountable challenges. There's a way to get through it, and from our part, didn't require just throw the baby out with bathwater and start over. We were able to adapt and execute within those new specifications relatively easily, and provide that product that takes up one.
Fantastic. I totally agree with you. Jim, I think you got a question over there. Is that right?
Yeah, Lawrence asked the question. So how has adding tack coat to the pay items worked on the project, Craig?
I think that's a great thing. But there's still sometimes a little confusion on that because it's a new process and everything. But I think it's great that you split that out as a separate item, because then we can really concentrate on that. Being a subsidiary item or something that's nested within there doesn't always get the attention that it's needed. But at the same time, if you need to increase rates or decrease or change applications, you've got an item to deal with that, separate and distinct from the hot mix. And I think it helps us remove that from other conversations that might entangle other items. So it really separates that out and lets us concentrate on it specifically and address it how it needs to be done.
Kind of interesting, that pavement item that also, I don't know if we did it a whole lot before or not, but now we're sampling and testing all the tack, all those other products like that. And I think that's just magnified the attention that they need to have. And it shows that we've improved the quality of those items too. Have you seen that same process?
Absolutely. The fact that we've got it separated out, then as well as the sampling procedures and the liquid asphalt testing that's going on, I think all of that ties into that quality asphalt pavements that just brings that thing in to make sure that we're ensuring that the bonding aspect of these mixes, which we know is very, very important to long-lasting pavements, is done in a way that's going to achieve our ultimate goal.
You're absolutely right. Ryan Barbarack and Chuck Fuller really went on a good education process last year about bonding, how important bonding is, the use of tack. It's not just how much, but it's how you apply it and how you put it out there. So that's the important thing. So a lot of good information being shared about tack and tack products, and and then absolutely getting paid for what you're using out there. So that's all a good thing. Hey, let's look forward to 2021. You're going to be president of TXAPA. How does that feel for you?
It's a great honor to be able to do that. Really, I'm really happy that I have this opportunity to help the industry and to give back. And we've got great partnerships out there that they're really positive and moving the whole industry forward. So I'm just really happy to be a part of it and honored to be selected for this position.
Well, you know, you're going to have one guy that's going to be looking over your shoulder, unfortunately, because you've got some history over there at Reese Albert. You got Lon Albert that's been in that position before, so I'm sure he's going to be giving you some guidance. What do you think?
Absolutely, and that's welcome guidance. Yeah, no replacement for experience, and so wise man would lean on that heavily.
You're a smart man. That's all I can say. Very smart. But we're so blessed to have great members like Reese Albert, people who are involved. I mean, Lon Albert, when he was president, there again, he's one of those guys that got us to where we are today. And now you're going to take us to that next level, Craig. And we're certainly very excited about that. You know, your theme for 2021 is what's important. And that's going to be what's important about everything. What's important on the roadway? What's important in the specs? What's important to each one of us? And what's important about communication or whatever it might be. So, Craig, I want to pose to you, what's important to Craig Odom in 2021?
Well, that. I thought this was an appropriate theme, and you know, I think as an industry and also our clients, what they want are longer-lasting asphalt pavements that perform well and serve their ultimate goal and needs. But when you subdivide that and start talking about any one particular aspect of what's important, that really starts like, what's the highlight? What's really important? What's the intent of what we're talking about here? Whether you're talking about bonding or what mix selection or installation procedures, QC, it doesn't matter. You need to focus on what is important out there. And that way we don't get bogged down in some of the minutia that maybe doesn't, although there's a lot of things that do, but focusing on what's important is very important to us as a whole, and it will help us just guide our mindset towards what are we here to do? What's important? What's the ultimate goal? And we can break that down. What's important is going to be different for every little aspect of things. There's going to be important highlights. So I think it's just something to focus our mindset towards quality asphalt pavements.
You know, I agree with you. It's a great theme. I mean, we have so many challenges and opportunities coming up in our association, in our industry, things that we really need to stress of what's important. And I picked out a couple of things here that people have asked me about. Hey, what's so important about so-and-so? Why are y'all always talking about so-and-so? What's important about this? And one of those first things that I'm starting to get a lot of questions about, because I think we're bringing it to the forefront more, there's been more development on this, is the balanced mix design. What's important about balanced mix design?
Well, the idea behind balanced mix design, so of course there's a balance there, that where that key word. I think we've all gone back to where we can see that, you know, Texas had a huge rutting problem at certain times, and you've got cracking problems, and it's trying to marry all those things to get it balanced, to be in that right area to accomplish all these goals, whether it's between a stiffness or fatigue failure sort of situation. You're trying to balance that, bring it all together. There's also a lot of efforts to try to use recyclables in that, and that's very important to sustainability for our mixes. And how do you do that properly? So there's a whole lot of what's important around the balanced mix design, but the goal there is to try to hit that window in between too stiff and something that's you know, that's going to rut or not have that stiffness that we need, but also have that crack resistance in there. So that's the idea of the balance, and but there's just so much work to find out what test procedures that you need to do up front to ensure that 10, 20 years down the road, you have the product that you need down there. And so it's a huge push that encompasses a huge amount of information and knowledge and testing. But that's really why that's important. It's really going to be the the next wave of hot mix pavements, I think, in the state of Texas, because they're trying to find that balance point where mixes perform the best and promote long-lasting hot mix pavements.
You bet it is important. And because of that importance, Craig has been working with our TXAPA partners, and of course, they've already agreed to a joint committee to look at the balance mix design, the data. There's a lot of test projects going on out there, information being shared about balance mix design, how it's coming down. So we're going to be having a committee that Craig is on that will be looking at that information and looking at it in a way that we can form that to make a great specification that's going to be important for all of us. You know, Craig, another thing you were intimately involved with, you were our co-chair for that with Buddy Williams and TxDOT on e-ticketing. What's important about e-ticketing?
Well, e-ticketing, simply put, is a way of conveying a paper ticket that we get from materials, and it's important not just to think about hot mix on this. This is could be other materials that are coming out there, but to convey that paper ticket through an electronic form. So now this was always been discussed prior to the COVID situation. However, it kind of got put on overdrive whenever COVID came in, because you don't have the touch there. But the whole concept of that is making sure that you could electronically produce a ticket that still meets all the requirements that TxDOT needs it to comply with specifications. And I think that we've been able to come up with a specification that complies with all that. And Buddy Williams was great on this, really helped push this through, and his team. And they put together something that they weren't trying to do anything more than convey a paper ticket in electronic format. And there's technology to do that today. It wasn't one specific technology over another. It was just, hey, you meet these check marks and we can do this. And it's really bringing us into the next level, because if anybody's ever, whether you're an inspector picking up tickets and collecting those and the stacks of tickets that sit there that you're trying to add up and proof check and everything, or contractor dealing with that on his end, electronic format of that can just streamline things, speed up timelines, all that, but do so where you don't have to touch. It's just utilizing technology to our benefit.
You know, moving on to a whole new section of items here of what's important. I keep getting asked, why do we always talk about communication? What's so important about communication? What's so important about debriefing and even partnering? Craig?
Well, that is absolutely paramount in our industry, and well, any walk of life, to be honest. I mean, how many times have you been on a different page from your friend when you thought you were talking about the same thing? It's no different when industry is talking to TxDOT, or you're just talking within a specific project on how you're about to execute it. So communication is that way that we're conveying all that information to the other party. And without that, we could be on two different wavelengths. It's so important that happens, and that happens through a bunch of different ways. Our pre-construction meetings, our pre-pave meetings are very, very important. Where are we going to go? How are we going to do it? What's important to who? What are the roles, responsibilities? And a lot of the specifications outline that in a general sense, but talking about it specifically on a specific project, and what are the nuances of that project, and how do we have to handle this one specifically, is so important. If we get those addressed up front, everybody is primed for success once the project takes off. Now, there are some challenges to this. Getting the right people at those meetings all the time is always a challenge. People are working, people are doing other things. So trying to figure out how to schedule that to where it works, whether it's on the road, out there where we can meet with everybody, or it's difficult to do it in an office nowadays. Sometimes we can do it, video conferencing like this, but having that information, having that meeting, deciding who does what is just so important for success. And that's we are very fortunate in Texas that TxDOT partners with us to a large extent, and we need to take advantage of that opportunity there to create a successful project. And they're very willing to get together, talk through ideas, and really get together on it. So that I think that's great. I think that's something that TxDOT in Texas has done that really helps them shine across the nation.
You're just right on. You are right on with that. Why is that important? It's important for success. that's what that's important about. It's just like the next topic that we spend a lot of time and effort on at TXAPA, and this is one of our missions, is about training and education opportunities and those type of things. There again, it's all about success. It's all about quality in it. So what's important to you about that training and education process, Craig?
Training and education is so huge. I can't tell you how many times you just look at one little example where you've got a veteran that's been in the industry for forever and talks to a person that's maybe been there 2 days. And he's spitting stuff out of his mouth as an experienced person. It may be acronyms, it may be terms, it may be, and that person that's been there 2 days is like, I don't even know what language that guy's speaking. So people just don't naturally have all the information that we require for our industry. There has to be a process of learning and education. And every company has to deal with this within their ranks. Our industry as a whole has to deal with this. We do have, people moving on, and one generation needs to pass that information on to the next. And we're learning new things now that we did not realize in previous generations that are important, or maybe more important than we realize. So it is so imperative that we train our new people, our younger people, so that they have all the information that they can have to make things a success. TxAPA is doing a lot with that to try to help that, but it's important that happen within each company, the industry as a whole, and TxDOT, generally speaking, has had a lot of training efforts on their part. So that's a positive thing as well. So that helps us all communicate the same and be on the same page.
Man, you're right on. You are exactly right on. Just as you were during our strategic planning session. For those of you who don't know, Craig has already assembled committee chairs, the past presidents, the board. He's had a strategic planning session. Craig, how'd that go? Was that good for you?
It was good. It was good. It was an interesting one. Normally, everybody piles into a room and we all hash stuff out, and committees break up, and we really get down into it. But of course, this year, the way we meet's a little bit different. We've had to adapt to that, and we did, and I think it was very successful. It was a little different format, but I think we made a lot of progress on that front. So, and we'll keep refining that as the year goes on, as we face new challenges.
I really enjoyed the strategic planning session this time, because you opened up to where we could just talk about what's important. Craig's whole theme was utilized throughout the strategic planning session. And of course, we have volumes now of information of what's important. So I like the idea, the way you came up with what's important. We identified those things, and then how the board is going to direct those to the committees that have the most opportunity for success with those items. Correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now that we've established basically a long list of what's important, hey, it's time to go get to work. So we're going to split those up and go try to accomplish all those tasks.
Well, you are correct. And speaking of getting to work, I know you're going to want to get back to work here pretty quick. I just want to run over a couple of little things just to remind everybody about. And one of them is our membership meeting, our annual membership meeting coming up in January. Tell me, you excited about seeing some folks at our membership meeting coming up?
Absolutely. I think everybody's really looking forward to the ability to get out and actually meet with some people. This year's been a lot of absence of that sort of type of event. So I think we've taken a lot of measures there to make it safe and comply with all the regulations that are out there for COVID. But I think it's a great opportunity for us to network and communicate about our industry. And this is the second year we've changed the format up a little bit to add a little bit more to the membership meeting. and I think that it's positive. I think we're able to take away a lot more out of it. So, and of course, we've been able to couple a golf tournament with that ahead of time for the scholarship, which is another thing that's very important, keeping that scholarship going and keeping our young people invested in the industry as well.
Craig, you're exactly right. Our golf tournament, our Winter Classic golf tournament is going to be held on January the 19th, and that will be at La Cantera. We already have, what did I tell you, Jim? How many people? 100? We already have 100 golfers registered. Jenna just told me she was back going over those things. We already have 100 golfers signed up. So, hey, we're going to have a great turnout. So if you have not registered for that golf tournament yet, be sure you get your teams in there. It's going to be a lot of fun at La Cantera. And as Craig said, all proceeds, all of that coming in will go toward our scholarship program. And you were so generous, and we raised over $240,000 this past year or in 2020. And we're going to kick off the 2021 campaign with that golf tournament and that money. So thank you so much for your generosity. And then also for the meeting, Craig, Jenna just told me we have 150 people already registered for the meeting, which I mean, we're well on pace to break our record numbers we've had in the past.
That is wonderful. That is wonderful news.
Yeah, it is. It just shows people are ready to get out there and go to the meetings. One other thing I want to finish up on, and I know you think this is important too, but Gino Carrier wanted me to remind everybody that one of our final programs for 2020 is going to be the Asphalt Rodeo. That will be tomorrow.
Yeehaw!
Yeah, yeehaw. There you go. There you go. The rodeo. But December 18th, which is tomorrow, we're going to be having the Asphalt Rodeo. And Jim, what time is that broadcast going on?
10 a.m.
10 a.m. You don't want to miss it. 10 a.m. We're going to have the Asphalt Rodeo. We're going to have all the teams there. They're going to be able to have a couple of minutes to give their final closing comments. We're going to have the judges there, and the judges are going to make their final decisions. And we're going to announce our winners for the Asphalt Rodeo, and we're going to be able to give them scholarships for the winning team. So we're so excited about tomorrow, December the 18th at 10 a.m. for the Asphalt Rodeo. All right. So, Craig, any final comments before we head out of here?
I'd just like to say I appreciate everybody there at TXAPA this last year. They've been in the face of a difficult year. They've adapted and overcome, and I think that's fantastic. And hats off to the staff and all the members that have helped make that possible. So, and other than that, I'd really like to say everybody be safe out there during the holidays. A lot of traveling. Wish everybody the best and their families as well.
Craig, thank you so much. You know, 2020 has been a good year for TXAPA as well as our industry because we were all working together. We were all partnering with our partners at TxDOT and all the other agencies that we do work with, and everybody was focused on protecting each other and making sure we got a good quality job out there. So I want to say thank you to our members. Thank you to our leadership at TXAPA. Craig, y'all did a great job. Gino Carrier, my hat's off to him. He spent so much time with us in making sure everything was going according to plan. So we're just so blessed to have that. And Craig is exactly right. Everybody's going to be out there traveling. We want you to stay safe. We want everybody to stay healthy, do all those great things you can to enjoy the holiday season. Have a very Merry Christmas. Go out there and get some of that great Texas sunshine on you and put a smile on your face. Merry Christmas.